Deep in the cold darkness of space, the alien fleet moved slowly through a quiet star system. The ships of the Zereth Dominion were large and powerful. Their metal hulls shined under the light of a distant blue star. For many centuries, the Zereth had ruled this part of the galaxy. They believed no other species could match their technology or their strength. On the command bridge of the largest warship, the alien commander Kareth stood quietly while watching the large holographic screen in front of him. The screen showed empty space. Everything seemed normal. But suddenly, a warning sound echoed across the bridge. A young officer looked at his console with confusion. "Commander, we are detecting something," he said. Kareth slowly turned his head. "What kind of object?" The officer hesitated. I am not sure." The commander frowned. That answer was not acceptable. "Explain." The officer took a deep breath and activated the main sensor display. A small light appeared on the holographic map. "A ship has just entered the system," the officer said. The bridge became silent. Only one ship. That was strange. No sane captain would travel alone near a Zereth fleet. Kareth stepped closer to the display. "Identify the vessel." Another officer began scanning the ship. Numbers and data started appearing on the screen. The officer suddenly looked shocked. "Commander, the ship belongs to humans." A quiet murmur spread across the bridge. Humans were known in the galaxy, but they were not considered a powerful species. They were young compared to the ancient civilizations of space. Their ships were simple. Their technology was basic. Kareth crossed his arms. "One human ship?" he asked calmly. "Perhaps they are lost." But the officer continued staring at his screen. "Commander, the readings are not normal." Kareth's eyes narrowed. "Show me." The holographic image zoomed in. The human ship slowly appeared above the star map. It was large, shaped like a sharp triangle with heavy armor across its surface. Bright engines glowed at the back of the vessel. The ship moved forward calmly. Directly toward the alien fleet. "Run a full scan," Kareth ordered. The sensor officer immediately followed the command. A few seconds passed. Then the officer froze. That is impossible." Kareth's voice became cold. "Report." The officer spoke slowly. "The energy output of the ship is extremely high. Higher than a battle cruiser." That was already strange. But the officer continued. "The shield strength is equal to an entire fleet defense system." Now the entire bridge turned toward the screen. Kareth stared silently. One ship should not have power like that. "Check again," he said. The officer ran the scan again. The results did not change. Another officer spoke. "Commander, the ship is accelerating." The holographic display showed the human vessel moving faster. Much faster. But something about the movement made the alien scientists uneasy. The ship was not using normal propulsion. It seemed to glide through space smoothly, almost like gravity had no effect on it. One scientist whispered, "That speed, it should tear the ship apart." But the human ship continued forward without any damage. More data appeared on the screens. Weapon systems. Shield patterns. Power readings. Every number made less sense than the last. One young officer spoke nervously. "Commander, according to our calculations, this ship should not be able to exist." Kareth finally understood what the officer meant. The ship was breaking the known laws of physics. The bridge became completely silent. Outside the large viewing window, the human battleship was now visible with the naked eye. Its bright engines burned like small suns. Its armored hull looked stronger than any ship the Zereth had ever seen. And it was still moving closer. Alone. Not afraid. The commander slowly walked toward the window. His sharp alien eyes studied the strange vessel carefully. A single thought formed in his mind. Humans were supposed to be weak. So how could they build something like this? Another officer suddenly shouted. "Commander! The ship just activated its weapon systems." New energy readings filled the screens. And those readings were even more terrifying. The human ship had weapons powerful enough to destroy multiple warships with a single shot. The Zirith fleet had faced many enemies across the galaxy. But never something like this. Kareth finally spoke in a quiet voice. "What is the name of the ship?" The sensors focused on the writing across the human hull. A simple name appeared on the screen. STARBLAZER. The alien commander stared at the approaching battleship. For the first time in many years, he felt something unusual. Uncertainty. He turned toward his officers. "Prepare the fleet." The human ship continued to move closer. And the alien commander whispered one final sentence. "What kind of species builds a ship like this?" The massive alien fleet slowly moved into battle formation. Hundreds of dark Zirith warships spread across space like a giant wall of steel. Their engines burned with green light as they prepared for combat. In the center of the fleet, Commander Kareth stood calmly on the bridge of his flagship. His sharp eyes were still fixed on the approaching human battleship. The ship called STARBLAZER. It was now much closer. Close enough for every ship in the fleet to see it clearly. The strange human vessel looked calm and silent as it moved through space. Its white armored hull reflected the light of the nearby star. Bright orange engines glowed at the back of the ship like burning suns. But what made the alien officers nervous was not the ship's size. It was its behavior. The human ship was not slowing down. It was not turning away. It was flying directly toward the alien fleet. Alone. One of the younger officers spoke nervously. "Commander, should we send a warning signal?" Kareth did not answer immediately. For centuries, the Zirith Dominion had ruled this region of space. Every species knew better than to challenge their fleets. And yet, this single human ship continued to approach them. Confident. Fearless. Almost like it did not care how many enemies stood in its path. Finally, Kareth gave his order. "Launch the fighters." Immediately, alarms echoed across the fleet. From dozens of alien carriers, hundreds of small attack ships launched into space. The sleek black fighters moved quickly, forming attack groups as they raced toward the human battleship. Missile systems activated. Energy cannons began charging. On the bridge, one officer smiled slightly. No ship can survive that many fighters. The alien fighters quickly surrounded the human battleship from all sides. But something strange happened. The human ship did not react. It did not raise shields. It did not change direction. It simply continued flying forward. The alien pilots hesitated for a moment. Then the attack order came. Fire. Hundreds of missiles shot forward at once, leaving bright trails of fire behind them. Laser beams flashed across space as the fighters opened fire. The weapons raced toward the human battleship. The Zirith officers watched carefully. They expected explosions. They expected damage. Instead, something impossible happened. The missiles suddenly stopped. Right in front of the human ship. Just stopped. Floating in space. The alien pilots stared in confusion. A moment later, the missiles began to shake. Then one by one, they exploded. Not because they were hit. But because something invisible crushed them. Shock spread across the alien fleet. "What just happened?" an officer asked. The sensors tried to understand the strange event. Then the scientists found something strange. "Commander, the human ship created a gravity field." Kareth turned sharply. "A gravity field?" The scientist nodded. "Yes. It pulled the missiles apart before they could reach the ship. That kind of technology should have been impossible. Gravity weapons were extremely dangerous. No species in the galaxy had been able to control them safely. Yet the human battleship had done it without effort. And then the STARBLAZER finally reacted. Small openings appeared across the hull of the ship. Hidden weapons slowly moved into position. Energy began building inside them. The alien fighters suddenly realized they were in danger. "Commander," a pilot shouted across the fleet channel. "The human ship is targeting us." Kareth raised his hand calmly. "Hold formation." He wanted to see what this ship could really do. The human battleship fired. A single beam of bright blue energy shot across space. The beam moved faster than the eye could follow. In less than 1 second, 10 alien fighters disappeared in a flash of light. Gone. No debris. No wreckage. Just empty space. The alien pilots panicked. That weapon is too powerful. Another beam fired. More fighters vanished. The human ship continued moving forward slowly while firing calmly. Every shot destroyed another group of ships. It did not miss. Not even once. Within seconds, dozens of alien fighters were gone. The fleet's communication channels filled with shouting voices. "We cannot get close. Our weapons are useless. The ship is predicting our movements." On the command bridge, silence filled the room. Commander Kareth slowly realized something terrifying. The human ship was not just defending itself. It was controlling the entire battlefield. Every movement. Every attack. It was like the ship already knew what the alien fleet would do before they did it. The Zirith Dominion had fought thousands of wars. They had destroyed entire civilizations. But never had they seen a ship like this. A ship that could fight an entire fleet alone. Another explosion lit up space as more fighters were destroyed. The alien commander finally spoke. His voice was quiet. But every officer heard the fear inside it. "This is no ordinary warship." He looked again at the human vessel moving slowly toward them. The ship did not look aggressive. It did not look desperate. It looked calm. Almost patient. Like a predator surrounded by prey. Commander Kareth whispered one final thought. "If this is only one human battleship." He paused. Then finished the sentence slowly. "How many more do they have?" The battlefield slowly became quiet. Burning pieces of destroyed fighters drifted through space like broken stars. The Zirith fleet had lost dozens of ships in only a few minutes. And the human battleship STARBLAZER had not even slowed down. It continued moving calmly toward the alien fleet. On the bridge of the Zirith flagship, no one spoke for several seconds. Every officer was staring at the main screen. Commander Kareth finally broke the silence. "Status report." A nervous officer checked his console. "Commander, we have lost 72 fighters." Another officer added, "And the human ship shows no damage at all." Kareth slowly looked back at the screen. The STARBLAZER looked untouched. Not a single mark on its hull. Not a single drop in its energy levels. It was almost like the battle had meant nothing to the ship. "Run a deep scan," Kareth ordered. "We need to understand that ship." The alien scientists quickly began analyzing the human vessel again. Powerful sensors focused on the battleship as it moved through space. Lines of data filled the holographic display. Energy output. Shield patterns. Weapon systems. The more they studied the ship, the stranger it became. One scientist suddenly leaned forward in shock. "Commander, we found the ship's main power source." Kareth stepped closer. "Explain." The scientist pointed at the screen. "The human ship is not using a normal reactor." Kareth frowned. "Then what is it using?" The scientist hesitated before answering. It appears to be using a compressed stellar core. The bridge went silent. Every officer understood what that meant. A stellar core was the center of a star. The hottest, most powerful place in the universe. No technology could safely control that level of energy. It would destroy any ship instantly. But the human battleship was using it as a power source. Kareth slowly shook his head. That is impossible. The scientist replied quietly, "Yes, Commander. It should be impossible." Another officer suddenly spoke. "Commander, the ship's shield system is changing." The holographic display zoomed in again. The STARBLAZER's shields were moving. Not like normal shields. Instead of staying in one fixed shape, the shields were shifting and adjusting every second. When the alien sensors focused on one area, the shields grew stronger there. When a weapon targeted another area, the shields instantly moved to protect it. It was like the ship was thinking. Adaptive shielding, one scientist whispered. But no computer could react that fast. The officer looked at the new data and froze. "Commander, the ship's computer system is not normal either." Kareth turned toward him. "What do you mean?" The officer spoke slowly. "The ship appears to have an advanced artificial intelligence controlling the entire system. That alone was not unusual. Many alien ships used simple AI. But this one was different. The readings showed something much more powerful. The AI was not just controlling systems. It was learning. Every second of the battle was making the ship smarter. The computer was studying the alien fleet. Predicting movements. Adjusting weapons. Improving defenses. All in real time. The scientist looked up nervously. "Commander, the longer we fight this ship, the stronger it becomes." Kareth felt a cold feeling in his chest. That meant something very dangerous. If the battle continued long enough, the alien fleet might not be able to stop the ship at all. Suddenly another officer shouted. "Commander! The human ship is deploying drones." Small doors opened along the sides of the STARBLAZER. Dozens of small objects flew out of the ship. At first they looked like tiny fighter ships. But the sensors quickly showed the truth. "They are repair drones," the officer reported. The drones began moving across the hull of the battleship. Fixing small damage. Strengthening armor. Even improving weapon systems. The ship was repairing itself during battle. And upgrading itself at the same time. One officer whispered in disbelief. "This ship is evolving." The alien commander stared silently at the screen. Everything about the human ship broke the rules of science. A star-powered engine. Living shields. A learning artificial intelligence. Self-repair systems. This was not just a battleship. It was something completely new. Something the galaxy had never seen before. Outside the window, the massive white ship continued moving slowly toward the Zereth fleet. Calm. Confident. Untouchable. Kareth slowly spoke. "Prepare the main fleet weapons." The officers looked at him with surprise. "Commander." Kareth's voice was serious. "If we do not destroy that ship now." He paused while watching the human vessel on the screen. "Then one day, humanity may control the entire galaxy." The Zereth fleet slowly formed a massive battle circle around the human battleship. Hundreds of alien warships moved into position. Heavy cannons turned toward the bright white ship in the center of the formation. For the first time since the battle began, the STARBLAZER finally stopped moving. It floated silently in the darkness of space. Commander Kareth watched carefully from the bridge of his flagship. His mind was racing. This ship was unlike anything the Zereth had ever faced. But the fleet was still powerful. Very powerful. "Target the human ship," Kareth ordered. Immediately, Hundreds of weapon systems locked onto the STARBLAZER. Missile batteries charged. Plasma cannons glowed with dangerous energy. Graviton weapons began warming up. The entire fleet was ready to fire at once. One officer spoke carefully. "Commander, if we fire everything, the human ship will be destroyed." Kareth did not respond right away. He continued watching the silent battleship. The human ship had fought calmly the entire time. It had never attacked the main fleet. Only the fighters that had approached it. That behavior felt strange. Almost controlled. Before Kareth could think further, a new signal suddenly appeared on the communication screen. "Commander, we are receiving a transmission." The bridge fell silent again. "A transmission?" Kareth asked. "Yes, Commander. From the human ship." That was unexpected. Most species would beg for mercy in this situation. Others would threaten or try to negotiate. But this signal was different. It was calm. Steady. Almost peaceful. "Open the channel," Kareth ordered. The large screen in the center of the bridge flickered. A human face appeared. The alien officers leaned forward with curiosity. The human captain looked calm and confident. He wore a simple dark uniform. His eyes were focused and serious. He did not look afraid. Behind him, the command bridge of the STARBLAZER glowed with soft blue lights. The human captain spoke in a clear voice. "This is Captain Elias Ward of the United Earth Defense Fleet." His voice echoed across the alien bridge. "We did not come here to start a war." The Zereth officers exchanged confused looks. That was not what they expected. Captain Ward continued. "Our mission was exploration. But your fighters attacked first." The alien commander listened carefully. The human captain's voice was not angry. It was calm. Almost respectful. But there was something else inside it. Confidence. The kind of confidence that comes from knowing you are stronger. Captain Ward leaned slightly forward. "Commander of the Zereth fleet, we understand your concern. But humanity does not seek conflict." Kareth narrowed his eyes. "Then why send a warship like this into our territory?" he asked. The human captain gave a small smile. "This is not our most powerful ship." The words hit the alien bridge like an explosion. Several officers looked at each other in shock. If this was not their strongest ship, then what did the rest of the human fleet look like? Captain Ward continued speaking calmly. "Humanity learned an important lesson in our history." He paused for a moment. "Peace only lasts when you are strong enough to protect it." The human captain looked directly into the camera. "And we are very good at protecting our peace." Suddenly, alarms appeared across the alien consoles. One officer shouted. "Commander! The human ship is charging a weapon." The sensors quickly showed a massive energy buildup inside the STARBLAZER. But this was not like the weapons used earlier. This energy reading was enormous. Bigger than anything the Zereth had ever seen. The weapon system extended from the center of the human ship. A long glowing structure slowly moved into position. The energy level continued rising. Higher. 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 One scientist gasped. "Commander, that weapon has the power of a small star." The bridge became silent again. Every alien officer understood the meaning of those numbers. If the human ship fired that weapon, the entire Zereth fleet would be destroyed. Not damaged. Not defeated. Destroyed. Completely. Captain Ward spoke one final time. "We are giving you a choice." The glowing weapon outside the ship became brighter. "If you continue this battle, we will defend ourselves." He paused. "But if you stand down." The human captain's expression softened slightly. Softened slightly. Then both our species can walk away today. Commander Kareth looked at the screen. Then he looked at the massive glowing weapon outside. For the first time in many years, the proud commander of the Zirith Dominion understood something very clearly. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was not young. Humanity was not simple. Humanity was dangerous. The bridge of the Zirith flagship was completely silent. No one moved. No one spoke. Every alien officer was staring at the screen that showed the glowing human battleship in the center of their fleet. Outside the window, the weapon of the STARBLAZER shined like a newborn star. The energy building inside it was almost impossible to measure. One scientist whispered nervously, "Commander, if that weapon fires, none of us will survive." Commander Kareth already knew that. The numbers on the screen were very clear. The weapon was powerful enough to destroy every ship in the Zirith fleet at the same time. For the first time in his long military career, Kareth felt true uncertainty. The Zirith Dominion had ruled their part of the galaxy for centuries. They had defeated many powerful enemies. But this was different. This was not just a stronger enemy. This was a species that had created technology beyond everything the galaxy understood. Kareth slowly walked toward the large viewing window. Through the glass he could see the human battleship clearly now. The white armored hull looked calm and steady in the darkness of space. Its engines burned softly behind it. The ship did not look aggressive. It did not look desperate. It looked patient. Like it already knew how this moment would end. One of the officers spoke quietly. "Commander, all fleet weapons are ready. We can still attack." Another officer added nervously, "But if we fire, the human ship will fire too." The bridge fell silent again. Every officer knew the truth. This battle could not be won. Even if the Zirith fleet somehow destroyed the human ship, they would lose everything in the process. And something about the human captain's words continued echoing inside Karetha's mind. "This is not our most powerful ship. If one human battleship could do this, how strong was the rest of their fleet?" Kareth slowly returned to the command chair. His decision was finally clear. Cancel the attack. Several officers looked up in surprise. "Commander?" Karetha's voice remained calm but firm. "Stand down all weapons." The orders quickly spread across the fleet. Cannons powered down. Missile systems deactivated. The glowing weapons of the Zirith ships slowly went dark. On the screen, the human captain was still waiting patiently. Kareth looked directly at him. "The Zirith Dominion will not continue this battle," the alien commander said. For a moment, the human captain simply nodded. Then the massive glowing weapon on the STARBLAZER slowly powered down. The light faded. The dangerous energy disappeared. Relief quietly spread across the alien bridge. The human captain spoke one final time. "Wise decision, Commander." Kareth watched the screen carefully. "What will your ship do now?" he asked. Captain Ward answered calmly. "We will continue our exploration mission." He paused for a moment before adding something unexpected. "And we hope that one day our species can meet again, as allies." The communication channel closed. Outside the window, the human battleship slowly turned away from the Zirith fleet. Its engines burned brighter as the ship began to move. Within seconds, the STARBLAZER accelerated across space. Faster. Faster. Then the ship suddenly vanished into deep space. Gone. Just like that. The alien fleet remained still for several long minutes. Finally, one officer spoke quietly. "Commander, what do we report to the Dominion?" Kareth looked out at the empty space where the human ship had disappeared. His answer was slow but certain. "Report the truth." He turned toward his officers. "Humanity is no longer a small species." The bridge remained silent as the commander finished his final statement. They are something far more dangerous. He looked again at the stars. A civilization that refuses to accept limits. Far away in deep space, the human battleship continued its journey. And across the galaxy, new ships were already being built. Bigger. Stronger. Even more advanced. The Zereth Dominion had learned something important that day. Humanity did not seek war. But if war ever came, the galaxy might not survive it.